Topics that I am going to cover in Module 3 are resistance to change, sources of individual resistance to change, sources of organizational resistance to change, causes of resistance to change, strategies to overcome resistance to change, manifestation of resistance, and the last one, 6-box model. Let's start with the topic resistance to change. So resistance means when we are not willing to do anything, means unwilling to accept the change. That is called resistance to change. So change requires individuals to make a new adjustments, and the fear of adjustments give rise to the problem of resistance to change. Because we fear of unknown, this is a reason we resist to this change. And it is a natural human reaction because we all don't want to come out from our comfort zone, and it requires proper management, which is really quite a big challenge. So resistance can be seen in different and unexpected ways. For example, when a change is proposed, employees may immediately respond by voicing their complaint, by engaging in a work slowdown, and threatening to go on strike. Resistance affects productivity, quality, and relationships. If you are not willing to take that change, these all are the areas where this resistance will affect. In the productivity of the work, in the quality of the work, you are doing your work, but that doesn't come with that quality. And yes, the relationship among the supervisors, subordinates, managers in the organization. Next topic is sources of individual resistance to change. Let's see some of the reasons why an individual resistance to change. And one of the most common reason for resistance is fear of unknown, where I don't know what is this new change, so I fear and I don't want this change. But people will only take active steps toward this unknown if they genuinely believe that risk of standing still are greater than of moving forward in new direction. So until and unless they don't believe, they genuinely don't believe that this change is good for them, they won't go ahead. They will resist. So fear is the most common, we can say, most common reason that individual resists the change. Next is security. People with high need for security are likely to resist the change because it threatens for their feeling of safety. Let's take an example of, we can say, LIC firm. So before computer was introduced, people work on papers, they make files, so everything was written work. But when computer was introduced, they feel insecure that now we may lose our job because we don't know the new technology, how to work on computers. So this is what the security, and then here they resist this change. No, we don't want computer, we are okay with writing. Understood? Next, third one is selective information processing. Now, individuals shape their world through their perceptions. आपका perception किसी problem को देखने का कुछ और है, हो सकता है, और मेरा perception किसी problem को देखने का कुछ और हो सकता है. So how you create your perception and you don't want any alteration in that perception. It is called selective information. Now, you don't want to hear something else. You want to hear what you want. You want to see what you want. And you ignore the information that pose a challenge to you. Because you have perceived your world. कि हाँ I am comfort, I have comfort here, I have a comfort level in this thing only, right? Next, the fourth one is poor communication. So in an organization, news of change spreads through the hierarchy, right? Decision maker will pass on to team members. Details are sometimes distorted and members end up receiving inaccurate second-hand information. So this creates poor communication and that causes resistance to change, that you are not clear with the idea. हायरार्की से चलता आ रहा है, डिसीजन मेकर्स ने टीम मेंबर्स को बताया, मैनेजर्स ने सबऑर्डिनेट्स को बताया, देन आगे फर्दर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में वो बात गई है. बट मे बी टिल द टाइम इट रीचेस टू द एम्प्लॉयज द इंफॉर्मेशन इज ऑल्टर्ड ऑफ दिस चेंज. So because it's a poor communication, you don't know the reality of this change, that what this change will bring to you. That is what? Poor communication. Next point to understand the reason why individual may resist the change is misunderstanding about the need for change. If employees do not understand the need for change, they may resist. Yes, this is true. Especially from those who strongly believe the current way of doing things works well and have been doing since last many years. So we do not want to change. Because हम जैसा कर रहे हैं बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं और कितने सालों से कर रहे हैं. So we don't want any change. So here come a reason that when you don't understand that what this change can bring to you and your organization, then this resistance come here. Next topic is sources of organizational resistance to change. In this we will study about group inertia, structural inertia. So let's start with the group inertia. Sometimes individuals are ready to accept this change, but the group norms, because they are in team, it stops them from doing so. Because they are in teams, they cannot raise their voice alone. This is what group inertia. The second one is structural inertia. It refers to the tendency of organization to maintain the status quo. Means organization have built-in mechanism to produce stability. For example, the selection process systematically selects certain people in and certain people out. This selection process helps the organization to select the people and oppose those who does not support the interest of organization. So what is this? This is a structural inertia, means when an organization has a predefined rules to select the people, to bring in the people and kick out the people. Next point is lack of competence. So sometimes changes in organization requires changes in skills. Some people may have a feeling that they won't be able to make the transition very well. That may result in resistance to change. So this is lack of competence, means they don't have confidence that they can cope up with this change, so they resist the change. Next, we can say sunk cost. An organization may also resist change because it has invested in fixed assets and human resources. The cost cannot be recovered unless the assets and resources are put to the productive use. Now, for example, if you are working in an organization and you don't do good things and you don't work properly, so what will happen? Organization is not going to tolerate all this because they have hired to do work, right? So when changes is introduced, many of these costs, the cost of hiring the people, the cost of having the resources, become useless. Some executives may be retained despite their outdated skills and experience. So their pay and benefits, what it is? It represents sunk cost. Next point is low trust. When people don't have, or when people don't believe that they and the company can manage this change, they are likely to be resistant. Thank you.